Hello there, folks. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Yeah, you might notice that it's not Sunday. Busy. Yeah, like it will. Like spoiler alert, we'll be back. We'll be back on Sundays. It's just we didn't really get to go to the cinema this week, so sorry. But we're here now. Yes,
We are.
We're here now, and we finally caught up with a film that we meant to see at the cinema actually when it first came out, but it had a really limited theatrical release in this country, seemingly because I think there was 1 week where it was in cinemas, and then suddenly it was gone.
Yeah, we talked about it very briefly, didn't we? And then it was sort of already too late.
Yes, we
At
are
least
talking
where we are, like
Yeah.
whoever around us anyway.
But we are talking, of course, of The Big Sick, which, as you may or may not be aware, is up for an Oscar, actually.
And it's also up on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, which is
If
how
you
we
also
ended
missed
up
it.
watching it. We were just like, finally, it's here. We can check it out. And yeah, I don't think we were disappointed at all.
No. To be honest, I know I say that we talked about it briefly. We talked about it so briefly when it was out that I actually didn't really know what it was about at all.
No.
And I didn't know it was a true story. So I went through the whole thing like, what on earth's going on? But like in a good way. Like I don't know. The title made it sound like it was going to be a lot more of a.
It's a really.
I don't know,
It's a bit of a crap title.
It is. And it's really, I don't know, it was really serious and really sad and heartbreaking and sort of like a really serious subject. And it just wasn't what I was expecting at all.
Yeah, it was kind of like, so Kumail plays himself, basically, in this film. He's an aspiring Pakistani-American comedian, and he comes from a very traditional Pakistani family. Like, his mum keeps trying to set up arranged marriages, but he ends up kind of on a date with Zoe Kazan's character, Emily. And yeah, they kind of hit it off. They fall in love. He doesn't tell his family. This comes back to bite him in the ass. She gets very ill, and despite the fact that they kind of like broken up over his inability to combine his traditional family with this American woman he's fallen in love with, he feels almost responsible because he's the one that her friends ring when she ends up in the hospital. He's the one that ends up ringing her parents, and they're quite frosty towards him to begin with. But then, they go on this journey together while Emily's ill, and then they come out the other side. She eventually wakes up, and there's a whole. They've gone on this journey, but she hasn't, sort of thing. So he's all like, "I'm ready to be with you," and she's like, "What?"
I've been asleep.
Yeah,
Which
I've been
actually,
asleep.
I have to say that there's a lot more tension in it when you don't know that it's a true story, because I didn't know whether she was going to wake up or not.
Yeah.
So I was like, when he got a text saying, come now, come right now, and he didn't know whether she was going to be dead or not. And neither did I, so I was like, oh, what's happening?
Well, this was it, like, neither of us, so we didn't realise that A, it's a true story, that B, the writing Joe on it were the characters in it. Like, I love the fact that Kumail plays himself, sort of thing. I think it's really nice. And it's really nice that they're both co-writers on this. Emily Gordon herself is, she's done quite a few things now. But, yeah, we didn't know any of that. Yeah. So for us, it was quite... it was quite tense.
It's really something. It's really important to me that I don't know these things, because I'm sure that some people will be watching thinking that's really weird. But actually, I like it that way. I like not knowing. I
think it was much better going into this sort of film.
Definitely.
Because we were completely emotionally at the mercy of the film.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have any extra knowledge.
Yeah.
And that kind of, it's something that I grapple with a little bit sometimes, because I've always been one of those people that kind of likes reading about things, I like previews, I like to know the ins and outs of the industry and the workings of films. I used to read Empire and Total Film all the time in terms of like films, and games magazines all the time in terms of games, so I've always been quite informed. But actually, one of the biggest and best joys of cinema is going in and seeing something that you have no really idea about, and it blowing your mind, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because of that fact. So no, I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a really... So it reminded me a lot of 50-50, which is a film with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he finds out that he's got cancer. And it's a kind of like, it's a similar kind of comedy, drama, dramedy, kind Coma.
No.
So it's similar in the sense that it's dealing with quite serious life and death subject matter while still managing to inject a little bit of levity.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a really pleasant film.
It is.
Big Sick.
It is. Yeah. I found it. Yeah, it was very. I don't know.
You're making a face that looks like you've just smelled a fart.
No, I just thought it was. I just was sort of taken aback about how. I think it's a very.
That's the taken aback face.
I just think it's a really prevalent subject that it's. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know. I guess it's just a bit. I found it very moving. I'm quite sort of.
I'm
quite
that,
moved
though.
by it. I'm not. I haven't quite recovered. I think I'm quite sort of still quite taken aback in a good way. Like
it was a beautiful
good.
story.
It was.
Like,
it was.
It's like I love that it is an inspirational story and it is a story worth telling and it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Really.
No, it is. It is. And it's just. I think it's really interesting because, like, I have a lot of friends who are in the same situation in terms of having been brought over by parents who. And they have that struggle, and so I think in a way it sort of didn't hit a nerve, but I don't know. It
resonated.
Yeah, that's a good word. And so I'm feeling quite sort of emotional about it. But I thought it was brilliant, and I think Kamal's relationship with Emily's parents was amazing. Like watching that transition and going from, as you say, them being frosty towards him and her mum being like almost hostile.
Yeah.
And more so than Emily's father. But then in the end, when some idiot American guy is like shouting racist stuff at Kamal about him being in ISIS or whatever, she completely flies off the handle and defends him and is almost starts a fight with this guy. And it's really nice seeing that transition. And in the end, they have some really tender moments where you can tell that they really care about each other, and
in the end, it's Emily's mother that's kind of fighting to show her when she wakes up again just how much Kamal was there through the entire process.
Yeah.
But it's also super important, like, that Emily comes to terms with this on her own, because to her point, she's been asleep this whole time.
Yeah.
Like it's
a really interesting way of looking at it.
I will say that. So one thing that didn't really work for me in the film was actually like Kamal's stand-up. Was kind of shit. Yeah, it just wasn't very. It wasn't very funny. I don't think any of none of the scenes at the comedy place really worked. I mean, it was functional in terms of giving him like a creative thing to be pursuing, and it made sense. But I didn't find much of that. I thought that a lot of that was kind of like filler, and a lot of the material that was. It was kind of like ho hum.
Do we know how much of that is true? Is that what he was doing and what he was is do you just not find his stand up funny, or was that all written for the film?
Well, this is it. I don't know. But then again, there were moments within the film that were very funny. So
yeah.
So I think this is a symptom of some of the Apatow school of filmmaking, which is that like in every single Apatow production, even if it's not necessarily directed by him, like you have a lot of improvisational qualities. Like there are scenes that you can tell have been improvised, and some of these work really, 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 really well. Like most of the 40-year-old version, or most of Superbad, just so great. But in this film, like all of the improvised scenes seemed just so much weaker than the actual scripted stuff. And I have a feeling that most of the interactions between the comedians was kind of improv'd, and most of the stuff between Kumail and Emily wasn't. And a lot of the scripted stuff worked really well. The writing's really good, but the improv was noticeably lacking. And I can't help but feel that maybe that was like some of those scenes felt kind of awkwardly uncomfortable, but not in a good way, not in a kind of this was purposeful in this, or like this is perfectly uncomfortable, but it's not funny sort of thing. I think some of the improv just landed a bit flat, which is maybe why some of the stuff at the Comedy Shack or wherever they were performing kind of fell a bit flat as well. But the core story is wonderful.
But with the comedy anyway, I don't think it really mattered, because part of the point was that they hadn't made it. So they're not supposed to be entirely funny.
They're not terribly successful at this point.
Well, exactly. So if they were really, really good, then it would be... I mean, they were starting to get noticed, yes. But if they were amazing and hilarious, then they would have already been noticed, and therefore they wouldn't be there. So I think it kind of did work. And I quite like the other two comedy people, his friends that he moved to New York with at the end. I really liked them. I thought they worked really well together. I thought she was great. And generally I thought, I think Zoe Kazan was amazing. I really enjoyed watching her.
I don't think I've seen I don't think I've seen her in a bad film. Like, I love her choice of films is always great. And there's an interview with her where she's talking about like, oh no, not another rom-com. I don't want to do these. And then she read the script and was just like, no, I've got to do this. Which is understandable. Which is also understandable why it's up for an Academy Award. Like, it's also so refreshing just to go back to the story of non-white immigration into America, like the stories that are coming up, the range of narratives that we're getting now is so good to see, and so interesting, and so captivating, and so relatable. This is the thing, like it's
I was still really hoping by the end though that he would be able to talk to his parents again, but I get the impression that they will not ever talk again.
Well,
or at least not for the foreseeable future. Like, they haven't...
Yeah, the time span was pretty short.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But it was good to see that he might be meeting his brother. Because it is obviously such a horrible choice to be forced to make.
Yeah.
Such a difficult sort of angle of life. I don't know. I thought it was really amazing.
I really like as well. Like, I really like the bit where they break up, the bit where she discovers the books and she discovers that he hasn't told his family, and they rage at one another, and he says some really mean stuff, and like, and it's like they go at one another, like, and I love that. I love that, they're not perfect characters. I love that, we can tell these stories now with redemptive arcs where you can have flawed romantic characters that with elements of their characters that don't need to be celebrated, that aren't worthy of celebration, that are actively kind of like, oh shit, that's unattractive, but that kind of largely come good in the end. And I think that's, you really feel that kind of the raw kind of this is something that I'm really struggling with on Kamal's part, and on Emily's part as well, when she finds out, like, I thought it's very well acted.
It is, and I thought his accusation that she should be handling the sort of finding out about the arranged marriages and his family, whatever, she should be dealing with it fine because she's a therapist, or training to be a therapist. I thought that was a really interesting. I mean,
it's such a dick move, but it's so such a thing awful, that a guy would say in that situation. That sort of, you're just hurling stuff out that you don't really mean, but you're using whatever you've got at your disposal.
But also that sort of conflict with someone that is supposed to be able to help other people through things like that, struggling to deal with that themselves, being in that situation themselves. And obviously she was going to cry, obviously she was going to scream, obviously she's not going to immediately like compose herself and be like, okay, fine. Yeah, and I that's a good, I think she was incredibly human, especially in that moment. And I think I like those films where you can really, I mean, yes, fine, I love a good action film where it's completely unbelievable and people should be dying all the time and don't shoot each other and it's stupid and you can just pretend. But, like, on the flip side, I love a good film where the people are real and the story is real, the struggle is real.
This is why I love indie rom-coms.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan of indie rom-coms.
Things like Begin Again, which is just one of the best films.
Things like...
When they don't end up together, she just cycles off by herself into the sunset, and it's great.
Happy Thank You More Please, which I think Zoe Kazan was in. In fact, most of the stuff that she's been in, like we talked about... I feel like
we need to watch more.
Oh, what is gone again? What's that film where she's like manic pixie dream girl brought to life with Paul Dano? Ruby Sparks. So good. Like 500 Days of Summer. Like these are films that deal with like very, very real, very human emotions, like heartache especially, but do so in a way that is bright and does bring levity to it and can be both, you can be laughing while tears are streaming down your face, sort of thing. Like, and I think it's Man, I love films like that. And this is one of those films you should go
Yeah,
see.
you should.
Well, you don't even need to go see it because now it's on Amazon Prime. Just watch it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
it's
also,
really
hopefully
good.
you've seen it already.
Yeah.
But if not, go see it.
If not, we've spoiled everything for you. But that was your fault for watching a video named Spoiler
exactly.
Alert.
But please come back and watch another
Please tell your friends about this show.
one. And I think we've already sort of given away our thumbs, but let's do it anyway. Cause,
Bing! Don't even do a countdown.
So yeah, it's a good film. Go see
It's
it.
a great film. Go watch it.
And let's find some more indie rom-coms because
Yes.
we both love them.
Next week, or rather the next Sunday, we will actually finally get around to seeing Darkest Hour.
Or 3 Billboards.
Or 3 Billboards.
Which I really want to see.
So
one of the
look
two.
out for that. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss a thing. Let us know what you thought of The Big Sick down in the comments. And let us know what you'd like us to see. If there are any suggestions you guys have, tell us.
Definitely.
Do let us know.
And have a good week.
Yeah, have a great week. We will be back on Sunday. Apologies for being late this week. We will be back on Sunday. And we'll see you then.
Bye.